I am not encouraged by the progress in the negotiations. We should have uh, achieved an agreement well before we actually arrived here. That was what I was hoping for. But then it hasn't happened, and difficult negotiations are going on key issues. But more lately, that is by last evening, I think Brazil has done an excellent job in coordinating the discussions. And so it seems we will have a minimalist text with which Bhutan will not really be happy. And as such, I'm going to propose to the international community that we accept this minimalist text as the very basic and the minimum of what each of us as countries and as leaders will aspire to do when we return home, and that each of us should aim to do far more than what we have agreed universally. Well, I have not personally participated in the actual negotiations, but my delegation has been, and I think what Brazilians have done is excluded the more contentious but non-essential elements in the text and focused on what constitute the main elements or the main the core elements of the text, and on that in particular on sustainability and on green ecology, green economy, for instance. I think fairly good progress has been made, general acceptance has been reached, but with respect to financing and on the institutional arrangements, there are still difficulties. I think there's far more to it than financing. I think there is definitely uh, much more that each country can do, be it a country that is poor, underdeveloped, or a rich and powerful country. I think, firstly, there is much more, as I said, that individual countries can do at the sovereign, at the subnational, and at the community level. Having said that, I think finance or ODA flows from the developed and industrialized countries to the developing countries, I think, is key, because otherwise, whereas there may be the sovereign will, poorer countries will not have the capacity to undertake the kind of sustainable development activities or activities that are sustainable. Well, there have been many who have expressed curiosity and surprise in the proposal of Bhutan to promote happiness as the end objective and the purpose of development. And I say that there is nothing unique or exceptional about this idea, because happiness is the very basic desire of every human individual and should therefore be the purpose of every government, every state, and every leader to try and create conditions whereby individuals can pursue happiness. Now, happiness, as we promote through the development paradigm known as gross national happiness, is one where we believe that, it's based on the belief that the human individual has needs far more than just material needs, and there are the more important or the equally important needs of the mind. And so G&H, in fact, is a model that is holistic, that is sustainable, and that is inclusive, beginning with firstly promoting sustainability, the survival of human life and all other life forms that, in fact, constitute the life support systems for human beings. Two, then to aspire, and through, after sustainable living, what we need is to promote well-being. And well-being is about justice, it's about equity, it's about democracy. And through well-being, happiness is what one would hope to be able to achieve. Through well-being, individuals would have the right, the freedom to be able to choose, aspire for, and find happiness. That is what GNH is all about, really. Happiness, I think, is a universal value, and it is not conditioned, I think, by race, by religion, or by history. I think happiness, as I said, is a universal value that, yes, to a large extent, is conditioned by the environment, by the political, by the social, by the psychological, and various other economic, aspects that condition the way a human individual is able to live and pursue life. And it is the way we measure is both subjective and objective. Looking at the subjective feelings of an individual by asking, for instance, how do you feel? Are you happy, and so on. It's both subjective as well as based on objective, conditions, which are the responsibilities of the government, of the state, to improve and develop. We have developed an index that includes 9 dimensions. And those 9 dimensions, in turn, are elaborated into some 72 variables. And it is against these 72 variables that we measure both the objective as well as the subjective, conditions and the feelings of an individual to assess whether an individual and a nation is happy or not. We conducted the last happiness survey in 2010, and I'm happy to report that the vast majority of the Bhutanese people are happy. Be happy and be serious about pursuing happiness, for that is the meaning and purpose of human life, and therefore also the function and responsibility of any individual who is elected or otherwise to serve the interest of humanity.